Hey everybody, thanks for watching. And before we get into this video, the Never Pay Again sale has been extended. I know a lot of you guys didn't see the message. I didn't put out a video on it, but it's extended 24 more hours. 24 hours, that's it. Then it's gone. This will be the end of it. So you guys, again, have one final chance to get it. And yeah, it's 99 bucks. That is true. I know a lot of people thought it was spam. And if you get any type of email from me that has Merkabah Academy or anything on it, and you get any type of, virus warning or security warning, my site is 100% secure. So whatever it is, it's probably your antivirus protection, but we are not collecting data or whatever it says. This is legit. So if you have any questions or about any links or any information you get from me, if you have any questions about it, just send me an email at therealmerkabah@gmail.com. I will clarify it, but any message you get from Merkabah Academy is legit. It's fine. No viruses or anything like that. You can open it up or just send me an email and, I'll clear it up. But yeah, this is it. It's like way super low because this is the last day, last 24 hours. It's important because, you got to understand with having the app, which by the way, the link is in the description for the Android Merkabah Academy Pro app. It's in the App Store right now. I put a link to it in the description. So if you have Android devices, you can go ahead and click that link in the description and take you straight to Google Play Store. And you can download the Merkabah Academy Pro app. And yes, it will be out for iOS. We cleared through basically everything. We're in the final steps. It looks like it's going to be launching when it does. Same thing. I'll do a video. I'll give you guys the link. It's important because you guys got to understand what I've been talking about for, years now. Everything is censored with YouTube. It's a problem. There's issues. You guys are not getting alerts. Having the app, you can get direct push notifications to the phone. Also, it'll be a lot easier to control the platform, live streaming. I would rather do a live stream on my own platform than have to go through, YouTube or something else. So that way, having the app, live stream, if you are a Never Pay Again member, you will have access to that. You will get an alert. You won't miss any videos. You will get an alert whenever something comes out. An alert will go to your phone for those Never Pay Again members. Any type of stock information, any information at all, whether it may be something important or quick or fast or something you need to know right away or to watch out for, we can do it with the app. The app is the best thing. I know most people have iOS, Apple phones, iPhones, so it's important to get that out. So this is, why it's huge, and I wanted to make it available, for, everybody. And it's, if you can't do it at this price, it's just, you don't want to. So I figure this is it. If you actually want it, it's been around for a while. If you want it, you'll get it at this price. I don't want to hear nothing after this. This is crazy. So 99 bucks, last day, 24 hours. When everything starts coming out after that, don't try to jump on and try to get it because it's not going to be available. That's it. So you'll see, what's coming. As I said, once the iOS drops, the site it won't go down. It'll just change. You'll see what happens. It'll be automatic. So a lot more stuff will be coming to it. And, the iOS app is a little different. And, it's just because, iPhone is different. But as I said, it's out for Android. Link is in the description. You can go ahead and grab it. And I'll update you guys with the iOS app. And I'll drop a video when it releases because we have to go through a few things. But thanks to everybody who's supporting, everybody who took advantage of the sale. 24 hours, take advantage of it. It will be gone. If you didn't turn on alerts to this YouTube channel, you probably missed the announcement from before or missed the video when it popped up when I was promoting it. So, here it is. Like I said, I appreciate everybody's support, everybody who's been supporting, but it's here. Once again, make sure you guys take advantage, and let's get into this video. We've been getting into a lot of, Greek history and Greek information over the last few videos pertaining to the Bible, of course. And we're going to get into a lot of new information in this video, pertaining to Greek history and understanding how, we can't look at Greek mythology and just pass it off as mythology. Talked about Homer and the Iliad, Homer's Odyssey, how much these stories we find in the Bible and how much the characters are similar and the stories are similar to stories in the Bible. So it's one of the questions I always get from Christians, and they just can't fathom and believe that, Greek mythology is older than the Bible. Because if you want to believe in the Bible and the story of the Bible, you have to believe that, well, Moses wrote it in the Old Testament, the Torah, and all this stuff was happening in the beginning of time. So God creating the people, Adam and Eve, Noah's Ark, so on and so forth. And people believe that this stuff is before, what we see in Greece and ancient Egypt. So if you're going to believe that, then you're going to look at Greek mythology and say, well, they knew the story and they copied it. But of course, we know there's absolutely no proof that the Bible is true, the Old Testament is true, and that this stuff happened before. We got to look at what we can prove. And what we can prove and what we know for sure is that Homer's Odyssey, the Iliad, ancient Egyptian texts, pyramid texts, everything I showed you guys in Unis and Teti and Pepi, all that stuff predates anything biblical. Those stories predate anything biblical. We can't find nothing. So got into the story, Ptolemy II Philadelphus, and how the Septuagint supposed to came into existence. Talked about that enough. We got into so much history about the Greeks. And of course, the Greeks are the Hebrews in the Bible. If you haven't been keeping up with Greek mythology in the last few videos I put out, definitely want to get caught up and understand that connection, going back and looking into Greek mythology volume 3. But real quick, understand, what I'm putting out and what a lot of people are not talking about. And it's another thing real quick. We got to understand that we are still in this time of information. The internet is not 100 years old. We're really getting into the internet and putting out information. And then people who have the time, and the money to go and actually look. So a lot of people watch my stuff because I've been to these countries. I've looked, I've done the research. So, people watch. But this stuff is new. So we can't make it like, oh, everybody know about this information. And then there's a lot of books people won't spend the money on to find the information. But we got to remember that this stuff is like we're still putting out the information to reveal this deception today. And that's, what I've been doing in these videos. So we look at this, we look at, can't prove anything with the Septuagint, can't prove their story. We know the Greeks, they fit the Hebrew Israelites in the Bible. There's no other people that fit them like the Greeks. Nobody. So what they have done was put their history, put their story in the Bible as the Hebrew Israelites, the chosen people, so on and so forth. Nobody was out conquering. Nobody was out doing what we see the Hebrew Israelites doing, but the Greeks. And it all fits when you start digging into the information. It's going to make a whole bunch more sense when we get into this. So we have this history. We know, talked about with the Persians, the connection between Alexander and the Persian Empire. I showed you guys how the Persians were having treaties with the Greeks before Kemet fell. They was working with the Greeks before Kemet fell. So we know there was this connection, this agreement that the two had. And as I said, the Greeks, they couldn't just go in and conquer Kemet. They couldn't go in there and just do that because they had people living there. They had this connection with them. Who told the Greeks to do what they did? There's no way they just, came into Kemet stupid. We had to teach them astrology, math, science, so on and so forth. And they amassed this strategy and this kind of thinking to outwit, outsmart, overthrow the ancient Egyptians on such a massive scale. So they got to think about that, one. Two, I talked about how the Egyptians changed the burial situation, where they are now being buried at the Valley of the Kings, and the old ways they went down to basically say, I'll be back. They stopped doing that. And Temple of Osiris says, don't come back here. So we don't know if it was some sort of changing of power that only the people at the top knew. And the Greeks had orders from whoever at the top to do what they've done, because it's just nothing fits but that when you really think about it. So they were smart enough to hide behind the Persians. And this is their MO, their motive of operation that we've been seeing since then. This is how we know it's the same people. They are like, the Sith. Perfect people to put them with, the Sith. Because you don't know who's at the top of the Sith. Remember, they didn't know if you watch Star Wars. They had no clue. So the Sith, he's hiding behind the Senate, but he's really a Dark Lord of the Sith, which is only two. And he's running everything. Palpatine was running everything when you pay attention. But he was really the Dark Lord that they were supposed to be fighting against. So he's hiding behind the Senate. And then he has the stormtroopers. And then he has these other galactic empires, these other empires that can do his dirty work and his bidding. But nobody knows that it's really the Sith Lord behind the scenes controlling everything. It is what they have done, these, let's just call them white folks at the top. So you have with the Greeks, at this time, using the Persians. So they're basically going to set up a deal with the Persians, gave the Persians the keys to the back door. And if you can imagine back then, if the Egyptians are hip to the Persians coming in trying to conquer, they have to set up a strategy. And it would be in the best interest of the Greeks to join with the Egyptians to know what you guys are going to do, because they might come and try to invade us. So we want to help you guys and be with you guys. So now the Greeks know what the Egyptians are going to be planning, and they can alert the Persians, which made it real easy for the Persians to come in and conquer. Persians come in and conquer. Remember, all of the reports of the war between the Greeks and the Persians were like that. Said Alexander wasn't even there. They basically handed them the keys to Egypt. And you would think if the Greeks and the ancient Egyptians were cool as they have seemed to be when you look at history, why would they allow this to happen? Why would they not give back power to the Egyptian people, so on and so forth? So we got to look at all this. So Alexander, basically gets hand over the keys to Kemet. They don't return over to the people. It's, reports that was talking about how the people of Kemet liked him, and how he might have had a change of heart or mind or what have you to the way things was going to go. And that's why he was killed, because he was definitely killed. There is a hieroglyph, a carving, a relief of Alexander in Kemet. Multiple civilizations spoke of him. So, the dude did exist. And it's a myth as to where his body ended up at. So nobody really knows. But there's a lot to the history. I dug into this a little bit and talked about how they supposedly found his body in Illinois in America, along with a bunch of Egyptian artifacts and some queen and what have you. We don't know if that was true or not. So a lot to that. But what ensued was the War of the Successors, or the War of the Diadochi. And we had these African lands basically taken over by the Greeks. So eventually Rome would come into power, and then Rome would basically seemingly defeat the Greeks. But we're going to get into this. It's a deep stuff to this. But and they come into power. But we have to look at what happens next, because again, talk about this, how Rome had their civilization, their customs set up the way that they wanted them. And they completely started to adopt the Greek mythologies and culture and custom Hellenization. They continued it in those territories. And we see Heracles change from Heracles to Hercules. And we see this whole adoption of Greek mythology and Roman mythology. So a lot of people don't know when this change happened, but it happened during this time. But we can find, a lot of these Roman mythological figures before the conquest of the Greeks, which shows they had some type of interaction with each other. And the issue with all this is it should be obviously clear. One, we don't have the original Septuagint. We can't prove the story of LXX is true, because LXX has been since proven to be a Jewish forgery. And I talked about Hecataeus and how all the information on the ancient Jews is pseudo. Nobody has any real information on them, as if they didn't exist. We have these facts. We have the fact that when you go back and look at ancient Greek mythology, we find biblical stories, which I'm going to show you even deeper in this video. So nobody is, caring about this information, because we've been brainwashed and taught the Bible the way we've been taught it. And even if you was to put this information out, nobody really cares, except for people that's into what we are into. And they don't understand how this information is important to really unlock the keys to us and understand history and our history. And to really unlock the key to yourself, you need to understand what happened in our history, understand why this stuff is important and what information they was holding on to that was important, that pertains to us. What is it? What is it about us? What's going on? So all this stuff is important. The mythologies, the history is important to know and understand. And the more you dig into it, the more you unlock information, as you probably figured out on your own. So this history, if you was to go back and find information before biblical religion that's basically showing it existed before biblical religion, it would change your mind about the Bible, right? So anybody who does their research, you have found it. You have went out and you have found clear, concrete information that shows the biblical stories in the Bible must have come from the Greeks.